Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Chat with Dan here. Joining me today, what can I say? We have the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, the one and only, the incredible Theresa. Theresa, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Fantastic. What better way to start up the week in the most badass and legendary way than to be chatting with a superstar like you here? You know what I mean?
You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot. But also in the description below, you're gonna find all of Theresa's social media. Let's follow her. Let's find out why she's super badass. And without furthermore, let's jump in. So, what initially drew you into acting was in the first place? Was there like a performance, TV show, TV movie, something that made you trigger this passion? So,
Yeah, so I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Michigan in a very small town, and I began dancing at the age of 3. So right away, I was just involved with performing and doing shows, competition dance, etc. And then I moved into finding my passion for music, which was a lot of songwriting and singing. And then my mom one day was like, when I was in elementary school, she's like, you should do theater camp at the local like theater downtown. And I was like, okay, sure. And then I fell in love. Like I fell in love with musical theater. I fell in love with the process of acting and creating characters and just the collaboration within that art. And I then just kind of trickled off to just focus on mainly music and acting. And I was just always enthralled with film. And so I started taking film classes in school. And I really fell in love with just the art of filmmaking and what you can show through acting on a screen and how you can really inspire or motivate or help the audience feel something while they're viewing you so close up, whether it's in a theater or on their laptop nowadays or on their phone. And yeah, I fell in love. And that's kind of just what led me to Los Angeles now. I've lived in New York and Los Angeles and Chicago doing just different mediums of art, theater, which I really love theater, like live theater. But when we're talking about film and that kind of like area of acting, I think it's really special because I love like my dream is to be like in a movie musical. Like I would love to bring in the musical elements within like an on-screen performance, which is happening right now in a lot of cases in Hollywood, but I want more. So
when you strip away roles, credits, and expectations, tell me who you are at your core.
I am someone who I like to see the good in people. I believe kindness really does go a long way, and I think everyone should be treated equally. So I like to not assume things and put judgments on anyone or anything because I believe just, as an actor too, like I always observe humans. Like that's one of my favorite things to do, crazy enough. But I do believe seeing the good in people is very important. And I'm a yogi. I love like fitness and doing yoga and kind of the mindful spiritual aspects of life. So that's me without my career on top.
That's pretty cool. And once you decided, to make this as a career, so you started, to go to acting school. You started to make your first steps here and there. But tell me, what were some of the first challenges that you encounter as you were building this into a career?
I think moving across the country was, first of all, a big life change for me. And it was I remember at such a young age, kind of like navigating, first of all, Los Angeles, it's a huge city, and kind of creating those small friendships and going to different events and different community activities to like meet people and really collaborate with people. And it wasn't always easy. I've gone through different, agents and representatives and kind of learned who my support group or system is and who works well with me. And there's been a lot of, ups and downs as an actor. You have one week where you're booking so many things and then another week and or a month or 2 months that you don't hear anything. So it's kind of like a mind game balance situation, but I think it's also important, and I've learned to fill my life with other things I love so that my whole soul purpose and mind is not always, focusing on, am I going to book this? Am I going to book this?
When reality, did not match those expectations back when you started, tell me how did that impacted you emotionally?
Well, in the past, I would get very hard on myself. There was one time when this was years ago, I was auditioning for a Nickelodeon pilot and I got a call back and it was a producer session. And I was the writer was in the room, the producer was in the room, and I mixed two words up. Okay, two words, just two. And I left that audition and I was like crying in my car, beating the steering wheel, screaming, saying harsh things to myself. And I think that didn't serve me ultimately, obviously. And I've come a long way of learning that rejection or like mistakes is just part of being a human. And I've kind of learned to give myself grace because if you don't have grace or balance for yourself, it's going to be very difficult to, expect that you're going to be perfect and nail everything every single time.
Mm. How has been your whole process to be able to cope with rejections, right? I mean, nobody likes being rejected. So in this case, how you are able to not let yourself, yeah, feel down or affected your whole day?
What I've learned from that experience years ago, I've done a lot of work and a lot of mindful work, and it's still hard. It's not easy. But what I do know and practice is that I do, if it's something that's very hurtful, it was like like a final callback or something, and I don't get it, I do have my like maybe half hour of cry or half hour of like, because I think that's important to let that emotion out. You can't just like cover it. But then it's important to, like, move on and know that, okay, that wasn't supposed to be for me in my journey. Like, that was not a role that was meant for me. But there are other roles that are meant for me. So I'm going to move on. Maybe finding another acting class. Maybe it's, experiencing life, going on a walk. I think going on a walk is so powerful. In the sun, like, it really just, shifts perspective. You can get so many ideas on movement when you're moving, and I think that's really changed the game with that, is, like, not dwelling on it, I guess.
Mm. And how long it took you for you to start to apply these practices?
You know, maybe, about a year ago, I really flipped the switch. I used to be the person that I saw everything the glass half empty. I was very negative. But this past year, there was one day where I literally was like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. Like, I don't want to. I shouldn't be talking to myself like this. Like, I've learned to like look at my progress and my accomplishments to be like, wow, like I have done a lot for me and my path, my journey, and trying to let go of comparison, trying to let go of, any expectation again to put on myself and just kind of be present in the moment. And I think that's really helped me. So maybe, it's been my whole life, I guess, until like a year ago. But yeah, I feel way more balanced and happier than ever. So I'm really grateful
It's impossible not to feel angry or a little bit disappointed. You know,
for
when you
sure.
didn't get what you want, totally get it. And
Mhm.
it's good the fact that you were able to learn from that and to apply something more positive to it. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
Yes. Yes, because if you kind of walk around with that energy inside you too, like, oh man, like I'm never booking this, or like I really wanted that, but that girl got this probably because she has this agent or this hair or this height, you're never going to, work within yourself and be like, wow, like I can get this other role though, but or like there's gonna be something else for me. The optimism.
Mm. Yeah, of
Mhm.
course. You know, I start to discover why you're badass. You know, I'm already having these vibes like, I'm getting it now. I'm getting it
Okay.
for sure,
Okay.
for sure. And tell me, what has been your funniest audition ever?
Oh my god, probably a commercial audition. There was one audition, this was a few like, maybe last year, and it was for, like, a TV company, okay? And they wanted me to, like, sit on the couch, quote, unquote, with a remote watching a TV, and they're like, "Okay, pretend like the funniest show is on," and, like, I'm by myself in this room looking at a wall, and they're like, "Okay, pretend you're, like, watching TV," and so I started, like, watching TV, and then they're like, "Okay, laugh," like and you had to, like, improv and laugh, and so, like, literally, I start, like, my hands out, and I'm, like, laughing, like, "Ah," and this went on for, like, I wanna say 5 whole minutes, like, no one said anything, I'm just sitting there, like, by myself, like, just laughing the whole time at a wall, and so finally, when they said, "Cut," they were like, "Oh my gosh, that was so great." I started just, like, laughing, like, because I didn't know I couldn't, like, speak after, like, I was laughing for so long, like, I was like, "Oh, we're done, okay." But, like, I was like, "Okay, I can talk now." So I think that was kind of the silliest audition, but I did book it, so it was good. They must have liked how I laughed, but being commercial auditions in general are very silly. Like, you feel like, "What in the world am I doing?" But that's what it is. So I think that would probably be the silliest audition, just laughing at a wall.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it was meant to be. You never
Yeah.
know. I think that's the whole beauty about life, that sometimes it just takes for you to to laugh at 5 minutes in front of a wall, and then you know what I mean.
Book a commercial, yeah.
Pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
Now tell me, how did financially uncertainty shape your mindset during the early years of acting?
Yeah, so during the early years of acting, especially when I moved out to LA right away, I it was important for me to, like, find jobs that I felt happy with because I noticed when I was working, these all these there was one point where I was working literally 10 side jobs, and I'm not kidding, 10 side jobs. I was teaching dance privates. I was working at a cycle studio, a boxing studio, a yoga studio. I was doing admin things on my computer. And I was drained because by the time I had to like film auditions, I was like, I am so tired from all these jobs. I can't, I don't even want to do this audition. So I had to kind of take a look at, okay, what is serving me and what's not. And so the things that really did serve me were like within the movement industry, like dance and, fitness, because it was also an outlet for me. So I think finding, the balance with those jobs and also the benefit within those jobs that really helped me because that helped me within my acting as well. So it was a part of my lifestyle, I guess. So, but it is hard. But I also had to learn, okay, this side job is draining me and I can't have that. So it's a hustle for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 10 jobs, damn. you
Oh
know,
man, that was a rough time. It was I felt like I was in school again, like a, intensive, but it was life. So, I don't know, you have to do what you have to do, I guess, but I was grateful enough to find better jobs but work less, if that makes sense. Like I only had 2 places to go to and travel to, then 10 or 9 people or things to, communicate with. And it also was very hard, when you're working so many jobs too. If you get an acting job or an audition, it's you have to navigate that sketch. Like, that one game, it's like what's it called? Uh Jenga. Or you're like, balancing all the
mhm,
things. I think it's called Jenga. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about though. It's like a mind calculating system.
that's pretty cool. And do you think all of those 10 jobs you had shaped somehow for your process to create a character more smooth somehow? From all of the people from all of the people you met, the experiences, and everything.
Oh, for sure. I think a big moment in that, I guess, is all of your experiences as an actor come from life, obviously. So I think it's important to surround yourself with people who aren't in the art industry and kind of have that different perspective because you might be playing a fashion stylist, writer, journalist, or something, and you were like an assistant for them in another past life job or something. And you can kind of remember, oh, I could use the kind of what her quirks were maybe to add to like this character or something. And yeah, I think it's important to definitely take from other subject matters within life, to
Mm,
create and cultivate your acting career and your
mm.
characters you play.
Which job helped you the most or impacted you the most?
I think teaching dance and teaching Pilates really did because when you teach a class, like especially a group class, you're getting people of all walks of life coming to take your class. So you see, like, you can kind of spot, like, kind of what that person's lifestyle might be. If they're in a matching, like, aloe yoga set, you kind of know what kind of person they are. If they're just in, like, just people come in and they're just like, I'm releasing blank from my job, or they kind of talk to you. They are like, "Oh my gosh, I work down the street and this is what I do. I'm here because I love dance. I'm here because I love Pilates." And you get to know them as a person, and that's kind of what you do with acting. Like you kind of, get to know your co-star in a way. You get to know that character. How do you guys relate? How do you not relate? So, I think that really impacted me the most.
Tell me how much you think you have growth from day one since you moved to LA till this day.
I feel like I have become very strong, actually, both in my mind and just what I can handle. I had an instructor once tell me, he was a male instructor. We were in a camera class and he said, "Oh, you're going to get pushed around a lot in this industry." And at the moment was like, huh, I wonder what he means pushed around. I think because a lot of people see me as delicate and small and just this little ingenue, walking around and whatever. But that really kind of motivated me in a way to be like, no, you're not going to push me around. I can create my life and my acting career as I please. And I think I've really grown because I think maybe years ago I would have been timid and like, okay, I'll do what you say. But now I'm like, no, I know what's best for me and my path. And you can like it or you cannot like it, but I know what I like and I want and what I deserve. So that's kind of I've grown a lot with my mind, I think.
Totally. I mean, and let's face it, the fact that you're doing this career, acting, for sure. I mean, it takes guts. I think that
Total.
if we start with that, you know, it's already proof that you are fierce and and you know exactly what you want to do in life. You know what I mean? So
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's
yeah.
definitely not for everyone. You have to be very you have to have a lot of determination, I think, and the mindset and it's a journey. There's not one book. It's not like you go to school and it's not like a doctor, you go to or whatever, a nursing school, then become a nurse, a doctor. It's like everyone's is different.
All right.
Mhm.
Now, was there a moment when things looked successful from the outside, but felt heavy on the inside?
As much as I think social media is great for connecting with people, I think definitely social media is a highlight reel. So a lot of people will look, at me on maybe on socials and be like, "Oh my gosh, she looks like she's having such a great life. She has, she just booked this, blah blah blah." But I think it's important to know that that is definitely not real. And yeah, there is sometimes probably within my career where I really wanted a certain audition, and then I heard that my friend got that audition, and I'm just like, "Oh, well," it kind of made me feel like, "Okay, well, I have this going on," and really inside, I was kind of, like, broken of like, "Ah, dang, do I need to do this? Duh, duh, duh." And I don't think there's, like, a specific time I can think about, but there definitely have been moments where I feel like if I didn't get what I immediately wanted, I always thought like, "Oh, I have to do more because I want to get that audition or that role." But it's definitely valid that definitely even Instagram is a highlight reel. Like no one really knows what anyone's going through. So that's definitely something to consider and think about when you're
Mm,
looking at talent.
mhm,
Mhm.
mhm. And what moment in your acting journey forced you to confront yourself the most?
You know, I I mean, I guess this is actually a true thing. So, in 2023, there was like the actor strike, and there was like a job posting, and I was like hesitant to do it because we didn't really know what they were. But I'm sure you know what they are now. The verticals, they are like little mini shows. And it was a very interesting breakdown. It was like about vampires, and there was like, I would have to be in lingerie and all this stuff. And I was just like, there is no other job, but, like, this sounds kind of fun, but cool, but also I don't it was called back then, it was called Mobisode. So I was like, "What is this?" So I'm like, "I'm gonna try it." I was talking to my agent, I was like, "What is this? Okay, let's do it." And I did it, and to be honest, it was one of the funnest shoots I've ever done, but at that moment, though, I had to confront myself and like, "Okay, do you wanna do this? Like, do you want to be on a camera, like, as a vampire, like, in lingerie, like, okay." And I was like, "You know what? We're gonna do it." And I'm so glad I did because that led to so many other opportunities, and I've met some of my best friends from this vertical space so far, and you meet so many cool people working on these projects. So, I think that confrontation of, like, having the I guess, adaptation and the ego when you let that ego go of, like, I just wanna perform. That's what I wanna do what I love to do. I think that really makes a huge difference because for a while I was like, I before that, I was like, "I am not doing a mobisode." Like, hello, I have, BFA in musical arts, performance theater. I've lived in New York. I'm on steps on Broadway, all this stuff. Like, but when you take that away, it's like, just do it. It's fun. It's what you want to do. You want to play. Like, hello. So I think that confrontation was a lot and it helped for the better. So yeah, that was a big pivotal moment, I think, within my inner self.
Yeah, I do think whenever you have like those moments in which you doubt if you should jump or not, you should jump for
Mhm.
sure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I have discovered that too. Whenever I have like a this feeling or something that makes me question like should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I go? Things like that. Eventually when I jump, it tends to be something super important for me to learn or an incredible experience that just stays it's gonna stay with me forever basically. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that even happens in life too when sometimes you're like, "I wanna stay inside tonight," and then, like, your friends are like, "No, come to the event," and then you do go to the event and you really didn't want to, but then you end up having the best time or you meet someone or something. You just never know, so I do agree. I think you should definitely take that leap.
totally. I mean if I haven't taken that leap, I wouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
pretty cool. Now,
Yeah,
for our halftime show, quick speed round questions, yes, no, or pass, super simple. Gonna ask you a couple of questions in which you can only answer yes, no, or pass.
okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Cool. So, have you ever waited weeks for an answer that took seconds to say no?
Yes.
Have you memorized scenes that never made it past the audition room?
Yes.
Have you ever been told you were perfect, but still not right?
Yes.
Have you learned to live with uncertainty better than most people you know?
Yes.
Have you celebrated a win that looked very small to everyone else?
Yes.
Have you questioned your entire path while still loving the craft?
Yes.
Have you learned to separate rejection from self worth?
Yes.
Do you think actors develop patience faster than most people?
Yes.
Has acting taught you more about yourself than success did?
Yes.
Do you believe this journey has made you stronger in quiet ways?
Yes.
And a bonus one, can you cry on cue?
Yes.
Pretty cool. All right. Now, returning to our regular transmission, tell me, what do you think it's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about actors in general?
I think a lot of people that don't really know the industry think that actors are wasting their time. They think that it's kind of like a dream flop career, like that it's not a career. Some people don't take us seriously. And that is so far from the truth. I think, um, what are these people doing when they get home? They're watching a show, they're, on their phone watching something, they're watching like a YouTube video, even anyone creative or like within the space of making art. I think a lot of people look down on that for some reason because it's not a typical quote unquote career. But again, what is a typical career? Everyone is on this earth for doing something. And I think without each person doing what they love or what they're passionate or what they're good at, what would the world be? So
Hmm.
I do think so. Yeah.
And how do you personally deal whenever you receive these type of comments? You know that you're going to starve, that is not a career. You should have like a plan B. When are you going to book a real movie? Things like that.
So yeah, I've definitely been told that before, even by some people who are close to me. And the way I deal with that is, again, I shifted my mindset. So as long as I believe in myself and that this is still a journey for me, I just say, "Oh yeah, I don't have a plan B. This is what I'm doing right now." And I cultivate my life to have other outlets within my life as an actress. So, I'm not just my sole life is not just acting. As much as acting is a huge part of my life. I'm also a person. I also, go on hikes. I also go, I love to, meet people for other things and do other things in life, So I kind of take it as because when people tell that to me, it's like, are you kind of anticipating that it's going to happen? Because that right there shows me that they have a very small mindset. And I like to have a big mindset and I like to go for my goals. And not a lot of people do that. So it's hard for some people to understand that this actually is a career and it's not a normal career. It is like I said, zigzag. You're on your own journey. So
Mm.
I kind of don't let it affect me. I very well could. I could, because it is important to like look at yourself and like see what's working and what's not working. That's a whole other thing. But when someone just says, "Oh, what's your plan B? You're not going to make it." That right there is that's not even in my vocabulary. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, it happens. I think it's part of the whole thing. I mean, what I've discovered is that, I mean, you're going to waste time on trying to convince them, or, you know what I mean? The moment that thing comes in, you let it go and continue with your day, and that's it. You know what I mean?
right. And especially it's I think also though not having the pressure on yourself is important because it's okay to like one day wake up and be like, "You know what? Acting isn't serving me right now. I want to explore this in life right now." But I can always come back. But for me personally, I mean, as I said, I started dancing and being performing since I was 3 years old. I physically, personally, I don't know what else I would do other than singing, acting, and dancing. Like that's my passion and strength, and we need those people in the world. So, right now, I think that's great for me. Of course, who knows what's going to happen down the roads, but yeah, I think not letting other people's opinions get in your head is important.
Totally. I mean, we all know that eventually when we see you at the Oscars, that's going to happen for sure, you know? And when it happens, I'll be like, I already knew that. Come on, throw me
No,
something different. You know what I mean?
thank
You
you.
know? So that's that's more than obvious. We all know that. So pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you so
Now,
much.
now tell me, what inner battle do you still face today that people might not see?
The inner battle I still face and I'm definitely always probably going to be working on is kind of feeling smaller, feeling small, feeling like I'm not feeling quiet and unseen. Kind of like I had talked about earlier. I think I'm still battling with, oh, she can only she's pigeonholed in these type of characters. Where when in reality it's like, no, I can actually do, this more like drama film of like scream horror, like just different areas within art. I feel like a lot of people see me as like one character only and or like one certain type only. And I think that's kind of something I'm grappling with of like, I maybe I should do this with my hair. Like the comparison aspect. You know what I mean? I think every actor goes with this, has this in their head sometimes, but it's something I'm working on, It's something I'm working on to be more comfortable of standing out and kind of showing and showcasing what I can actually do.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, it's part of the journey, right? I mean,
Totally.
and it's okay, as you mentioned, to take some days off sometimes, you know, acting will still be there, the world will still be there. I mean, you
Yes.
can't, when you enter into this phase, or at least what I have discovered is that when you enter into this phase of non-sleep, right? Of I'm not gonna rest. I'm going all in. I will sleep when I get successful. Like all of those things.
Yeah, no,
You know,
yeah.
it can actually affect you because you're setting yourself pressure on it. You know, and I think it's important for you to set your standards in a reasonable way that you know you're gonna be able to reach them. You know, sure, it's okay to dream high and all of that. You know, that's dream big and all of that, which is great. But
Mhm.
when you're performing, right, when you are on the journey to it, you need to set yourself some lower your standards a lot more and just focus on things that you can that you're able to do. And at the same time, I think it's important for you to enjoy it. You know, the end goal it's gonna be there for sure. And I do think that it's on the journey, those moments, the people you met, things that happen, like all of that, it can actually help you to on your craft, and it will, and all of those things will sum up. So when you get to your end goal, something else is gonna take the place, and once you realize you are in another journey for another goal, and I think that's how life is. I don't think that we as human beings are gonna be 100% happy. You know, we're always on this constant fight to get more, which is great because that can actually help you to become better and better at it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And I think it's also important to know that like we are human first. Like you need to make sure your mind, body, and soul are at least level because if you're not sleeping, if you're starving yourself because you need to do this class or this acting, like that's not healthy and that's not longevity. That's kind of like cheating yourself out because if you do book the role, you're going to be tired. You're going to be like not your best self if you're not, treating yourself. I think that's important. You're human first.
there you go.
So,
And as your definition of success has evolved, what matters more now than booking the role?
What matters now before even booking a role is how you impact people, like how you treat people. I think both in acting and in life, if you're on a set and you're just awful to be around, like no one's going to want to work with you again. If you're in life and you're just mean to people, like I don't know, it's not a good balance at all. I think how you make someone feel says a lot about who you are. And I think that's really important. And I only want to be by or surrounded by people and things that make me feel good and my highest self. And obviously there's always a mix of personalities and people within the world, within an acting job. And it's important to know who you are and how you go about treating people.
If acting disappeared tomorrow, what part of you would still remain?
I think my curiosity would still remain. I'm very curious about why certain people do certain things and why certain people feel certain ways after certain things. So I think that curiosity spark, both within my songwriting and kind of creating characters, would definitely still. Maybe I'd be a writer. I feel like I'd be like a book, a novelist or something. But I mean, I write songs. That's the only thing I write really. But, I think the curiosity and passion for learning about people would still remain.
Mm. And now that you mentioned that you write songs, what is your usual process?
Yes, so it always depends, but I write all of my lyrics. I always write all of my lyrics, and usually the process is I have to be feeling motivated about a certain topic or a situation that happened to me or someone close to me. And I usually write a melody and lyrics out. And then I kind of either take it to a producer I trust, who I work with several producers, but we kind of collaborate on the song, basically. Usually the lyrics and melody for me do come first, but also sometimes my producer friend will send me a track and be like, "Hey, can you write to this?" And I'm like, "Okay, what does this tune help me feel?" Or like, "What is it saying to me?" And then we kind of bounce off from that. But sometimes it's just simply me sitting on a piano by myself in the corner and and writing a song.
What has been the toughest song you've ever written so far? And toughest, I mean emotionally.
Yeah, so you can find it on my Spotify, but it's called Circles. That was a huge songwriting process for me because it was an EP I did a few years ago, and it's a beautiful song, but it's very meaning because that's why I write my own lyrics because I want when I listen to a song, I want to like hear what the song's about. I don't want just like random words because it sounds cool, quote unquote, or something. So every song I write has a meaning to it, and it might sound poppy and fun, but it also has the meaning, within it. And Circles is a big song, was a big emotional song for me because it's very vulnerable. It's very much so about kind of like you should keep living on your life. And there was a moments in my life where I kind of didn't want to, and the world was just spinning around me. You kind of have to listen to the song to get it, but that's kind of the contextual idea from my end.
I tell you what, as soon as we're done, later on, I'll be listening to that song and I'll let you know.
Oh, thank you.
Sounds like a plan. Tell
Yes.
me, which songs would you say that could describe parts of yourself?
Of my own songs or any song?
Let's go a mix here and there.
Okay. Well, for my own song, there's a song called Violet Sky. It's also within the Circles EP, and it's an electro pop, fun, dancey song. And my favorite color is purple. My favorite color is lavender. And so a lot of people see me as this kind of fantastical, like purple girl, like walking the world, and I love it. So that's kind of a song that would be a definition of me. And there's an artist I really like, her name is Lights, and she's like a Scandinavian, like, pop artist as well, and she has a song called "The Listening" it's very old, but it's so good. The lyrics as well are very specific. It's about, like, taking time to be present and, like, listening and, like, why can't I, like, fall in love because I'm not living in the present moment. I'm trying to think. A lot of people, funny enough, they say I remind them of Taylor Swift sometimes, and I'm trying to think of a Taylor Swift. You know what? Lavender Haze. Yes, that's a good song. I really like that song, and I like her. Taylor's cool. There's an artist I love also she's called Allegra Jordan. She has a lot of good songs. I think it's called The Lovely Band. I like that you're lonely, lonely. What is the band, the Lovely Band or something? They have a song called like Lonely or something. That's like another good song. I don't know. I could talk about music all day. Like there's so many artists, so many songs that I resonate with, but those would be the top
Mm,
one.
that's an interesting mix, you know? I'm liking the mix. Has like a
Oh
bunch of
yeah.
different aspects here, which is great.
I I think it's important, like, especially so as a music artist, but also as anyone, I feel like I love listening to different genres. Because if I just listen to all pop music, my brain would be like, "Oh my god." So I listen to, like, sometimes I listen to metal music, sometimes I listen to I love Latino, like, reggae. I love, like, Latino rap is actually funny enough one of my favorites. So, like, roll down my windows and just go to, like, Sunset Boulevard and drive around. So yeah, techno, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, besides your amazing music, what song would you recommend me to listen?
Well, Elevation. Oh, besides my music. Okay. Well, Elevation is one of my songs, if you want to listen, my latest release. Um Well, let's see here. If you're feeling like sassy, there's this artist I just discovered. Her name's Vanessa, and she has a song called I Know What You Said. And it's kind of like it's a good song because it's kind of a sassy song to be like, I know what you're thinking about me. I know what you're saying about me, but I'm not going to do anything about it because I'm higher than that. Like I'm higher than that. Like I don't need to stoop down to your level to like debate anything. But like I know what you said. You think I don't, but you do. So I kind of have been loving that song randomly. But there's a artist called Tom Odell, Flying Smiley Face. That is a beautiful song. That's a song that I cry a lot too. But it's a beautiful song and it's like about life and I think you would actually really like it. Have some tissues just in case though.
Sounds good to me. Sounds like I have a few songs to listen to
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for this evening. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I always say that you can learn so much from a person by just learning what kind of music they listen to.
Well, that's the thing I also been working on is I used to just write pop like ballads. Like I was sad girl writing, and which is there's nothing wrong with that. But when I had a pianist mentor, she was like, Teresa, you need to write some happier songs. Let's get some upbeat thing going. So that's why I've now shifted into kind of more electro pop. But Tear Stained Glass is one of my songs, and that's a very sad song as well. So a lot of people wouldn't like looking at me, they wouldn't think I have a lot of emotion and sadness, but there's when you unlayer things, as we all do, all humans have different layers, and I have very dark layers as well. So that's something people wouldn't normally think, I guess.
Totally. And I mean, and I think we all have, you know,
Mhm. Yeah,
it's
for
part of,
sure.
I think it's part of ourselves. And the more you accept everything from you, the more free you will become. You know what I mean? Try not
Right.
to hide your emotions. And it's interesting because, for example, like even till this day, I do think sometimes that we still have this idea that we shouldn't express our emotions 100%. You know what I mean? Which sometimes I'm like, yeah, but I think it's important for you to express them because I think
Totally.
the more we are able to express our emotions, the better we can fix this crazy messed up world we're currently living in right now. You know what I mean? I do think there's a lot of like mixed feelings, oppressed feelings, and if we were able to just open it and just speak how we feel, everything could be like a lot more, yeah, much better. The fact that we
Right.
were able to
Yeah.
understand each other, things like that. So
Yeah, and when you bury emotions, sometimes that can just make you go insane. And it is interesting once you express those emotions, there are a lot of people who actually feel the same way as you do. So I think it's important to connect as well through that. Mhm.
now, years from now, what truth about your acting journey do you hope people truly understand?
I hope they understand that I was, or I am and was, I guess if it's in the future, always authentic to who I am as an actress and as a character. Like I always like to have intention behind anything I do, and there's always a reason behind that intention. So that's one thing I just hope people realize and see throughout my career.
All right. And in general, like what motivates you? We all have those days that basically we just want to quit. It's inevitable, happens to all of us. So how you stay positive on one of those days?
On one of those dark days, I stay positive by, first of all, if it's sunny outside, I go outside. And I think journaling is very important. I think having a journal and writing the reasons why I am here in the first place. It's a good reminder because when you're thinking and writing at the same time, it's kind of training your brain to like take that information in again. So I think that's a great tool to use. So I would write down like, I moved across the country at 18 years old. I left my hometown. I do not have a typical life. I get to live in Los Angeles and just like looking at the good things really, it really is powerful. And I know it might sound kind of woo woo and weird to some people, but and it did definitely did to me in the past. I definitely did not meditate in the past, but I think meditating on all these aspects really do help, and that helps me get out of a rut. Or even calling someone I trust too, talking it out, you know. I think getting it out is important.
Do you think somehow do you think that somehow we take things for granted? What I'm trying to say here is this. Most of the times we want something, but here's the
Mm.
thing. But we don't pay attention to the things that we already have. And I'm not talking about material stuff. I'm talking about, all of the things that you have to do to get you where you are right now. I do think that if we are able to take a second and just realize all the hard work we've put on to be where we are right now, I think we can and stop taking those things for granted and take them as actual accomplishments because they came out of you. I think the more we're able to do that, the more free we are to and more relaxed we are to continue pursuing, to the next chapter because you are seeing results to it. But I don't know why or how along the way we just start to take those things as granted, which they were totally not. You know what I mean?
Totally. I think it's so important to recognize, as you just said, like from yourself what you yourself did to get to what you have, you know, because it's a crazy world out there, and it's important to realize like, wow, I did that. I created that for myself, and you should be proud of those moments.
My last question here, so we can all enjoy and relax. So, what do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Maybe Teresa Croft talks finding balance and longevity for
So is
sure.
Theresa Croft and then the whole thing, or just
Teresa Croft, my name, I guess, and then dash, I guess, I don't know. Finding balance in a career of finding balance and longevity in the arts, I guess. Finding balance. I think balance
what?
is one of my keywords. So
What about finding balance and purpose?
yes, finding balance and purpose. I like that.
There you go. We have a
Perfect.
title. I mean,
Teamwork.
who knows? I mean, I'm already perhaps we are already throwing your title for your next biopic, bio book. Who knows? Maybe at that point when you're creating that
I
and you are
yeah,
on the last thing, which is having a title, you could be like, "Hey, I already have a title back then. It's already here." You know what I mean?
right. You could even add in purple at the end because I'm always usually in purple. So finding
Purple it
balance
is.
in purpose in purple.
The fact you're doing this, I think it's impressive. It's amazing. I mean, we all know that doing something outside the typical 9 to 5, outside the typical box, it's challenging for sure, but you're making it happen. You are showing results. You are showing out there that it's possible. And I think that is super, yeah, that's badass basically, because you're not also creating cool characters and cool stories. You're showing us that dreams can come true. And I think that is super positive. And I think positivity is what we need right now, especially in this crazy world we currently live in. The fact that we can rely on you and to see how much you have, how much you have accomplished and how much you will accomplish in the future. That's inspiring enough for everyone to be like, hey, if she can do it, I can do it too. Regardless if you want to pursue music, acting, whatever.
I 100% agree. Yes.
There you go. So, Teresa, I want to thank you so much for making this happen. I do want to thank you also those who stayed the whole episode. Now, by this point, come on. You should know why. Teresa's super badass. So let's follow her. Let's share some love. Hashtag Team Teresa. And again, thank you for making this happen. Keep shining out there. Keep rocking. Keep kicking ass. And I'll definitely be seeing you in the next one.
Oh, thank you so much. I had such a lovely conversation with you. Thank you.
All right.